All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on what time you are watching this, guys. This is another episode of ICAD Audits. And today we're going to have a look at Run.io. Now, just to give you guys a reminder in terms of the criteria that we're using for this assessment. So, first of all, we're looking at in terms of Run, do they clearly define who their and communicate who their ICP is? Number two, do they understand their customers' pain points? Number three, in terms of their positioning and messaging, does it shows differentiation in the market? Number four, do they show and tell their value proposition? And number five, does their content strategy align to all those four and also to their business objectives? Now, obviously, I wouldn't know what their business objectives are, but I've been doing this long enough to be able to tell when a company's content strategy really aligns with their overall brand and their messaging, ICP, and what they're trying to communicate and achieve. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing I'm seeing here, right at the top, as you go on the website, it says real-time resource management for the modern workforce. Okay, it's a good start. But let's say, for example, someone like me who has no idea what Run is, who they are, what they do. Resource management. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a jargon or a term used in their particular market or segment or category. But for me, who has no idea what that is, I mean, the term resource management doesn't really mean much to me. And for the modern workforce, which modern workforce exactly? Are we talking about specific professionals? Who are we talking about here? So, yeah, I'll probably want a bit more clarity where that is concerned. It says people, projects, profit, all beautifully in sync. Navigate planning, tracking, and forecasting in real time. All right. Again, not really sure what that is, but let's scroll a bit further down and let's see. So it says try it here free. You can click here to try it free or book a demo with a sales rep. All right. So right off the bat, I'm assuming this is the platform. It looks like it's the platform, and I really love this. I really love this. I believe it was the last episode where I mentioned that if you're in the B2B tech space, especially if you are a SaaS company, it's good to to show people who visit your website the actual product. Like show us the back end of the product. Show us what the interface looks like. Show us what it can actually do, right? Don't just have a generic video, those generic animated videos that kind of gives an idea what it is without really telling you what it is. No, for me, I want to see exactly what it is. And all right, as I oh, that's neat. Okay. That kind of caught me off guard. Well, anyway, yeah. So scrolling over the actual video, it has a YouTube link. If you look down here where my mouse is pointed, it has a YouTube link which tells me that I could probably click on this. It would carry me to YouTube where I could actually watch this entire video that they have here. So I mean, I right off the bat, I love this because right away it's showing me what am I getting for my money, right? So don't assume that everyone who comes to your website, you give them a few lines in terms of your positioning, messaging, your value prop, and then just expect them to book a meeting with when they have absolutely no idea what your platform is or what it does or how it can benefit them. So kudos to Run for that. Join over 10,000 people who are being more effectively managed through Run. Okay, and I guess these are some of their clients that they have, or customers that use the platform. And it says make great plans, schedule people and projects in real time, and know your plans will keep up with reality. And then it gives an idea of that, like a still image. Manage workload, plan your team's capacity, and effectively distribute work across your team. See the gaps and know when to hire. All right, capacity management. All right, so right away, I'm getting a better understanding of what the platform does just through these brief paragraphs that they have here. Know your business, which roles are most profitable, what are the hidden costs of that project, instantly drill into the numbers that matter. Project forecasting. All right. So from what I'm getting, I'm not sure if this is a HR tool or if it's a project management tool. I'm going to lean more towards project management. Kind of wish they would have made that a bit more clear at the top of their website, rather than using industry jargon and expecting people to know exactly what it is. All right, and then I have some Capterra reviews down here, a bit of testimonials from people who have worked with them. Try run on a single project, a whole team, or run your entire business. Try free 14-day trial. All right, cool. All right, so I mean, they could have done a bit more clarity with the messaging and how they communicate what the platform is. But I mean, overall, I like this. I like the homepage. It gives me enough information that I at least want to visit the rest of the website. So here it has features, and I'm assuming these are the different features that the platform has. So let's click on project forecasting and see what that's about. All right, so right away there's a YouTube video here, which you could probably click to see more. All right, guys. So again, based on the connection that I have, you probably won't hear the video. That's just how it's set up. That's just how the mic is set up for some reason. But all right, it gives me like a 2-minute overview of this specific feature, which again I love, because even though they have like a overall high level product highlight video on the homepage for each individual feature, that they gave it their own landing page or its own landing page, and then it has a brief 2-minute video of what this specific feature actually looks like on the back end and what it can actually do. So I like that. Project forecasting software to get proactive about your business, forecast where your business is headed, to plan ahead with confidence, eliminate the guessing, and say goodbye to flying blind. All right, that's good. And again, I guess in relation to the actual feature, it tells me, gives me different use cases. So forecast your team's capacity, track your projects and pipeline, scale your business sustainably. All right, let's go to another. Let's go to capacity management. And again, same thing. They have a video that highlights capacity management. Know your people, get an accurate picture of your team's workload from a single shared view to cut through the chaos and streamline capacity. All right, and again, they're showing me the different use cases for this specific feature. So I like that. I really love this. It's very few, if any. I don't think I've ever really come across. Well, not many. I'm not going to say there isn't anyone else, but I don't think there's many that I've come across that actually shows different use cases for each product feature. So I like that. Resource management. Are people your most important resource? Resource management is a complex task. When you share resources and need to schedule projects across the company, there are many moving parts. Finding the right balance while also keeping your people as well as clients and stakeholders happy is tricky. We've been there. We know what happens. Project requirements change. Client time frames more. If your team is hit with competing demand, sales throws a curveball. All right. This could probably be improved upon in terms of because this for me just seems like generic pain points that I guess almost anyone who runs a project would meet upon. What I would love to have seen is highlighting pain points that are more specific to incidents that their clients have actually run across, right? Like, do you struggle with trying to execute a project and meeting deadlines only to realize that someone who's a key player in the project ends up leaving the company, and now you have to find a way how to better hire or outsource or staff that particular or replace that particular role to keep the project moving. So something very, very specific, but still broad enough that it can apply to almost any one of their target market or target customers, rather than just the generic pain points that any project management tool can really speak on. When there are lots of moving parts, it can be hard to answer the questions. Can we finish project on time and resources available to us? When can we take on that new project? Imagine having visibility to okay. All right. So I'm just so basically they're just it seems like they just restate what the different features and use cases are for each feature. 14-day trial, frequently asked questions. All right. Case studies. All right, so they have some case studies here. Let's click on one of them and see what that looks like. Lots of tools, lots of wasted time. All right, so the highlight on and brought awareness to the problem that this specific client had, and then I'm assuming get report on the project. They use these use these reports not only understand the day-to-day tracking, but also. All right, so for this, it seems like they did a good job up here, I think. Right here, where they highlighted what was a specific problem that this client had. What I would have loved to have seen though down here is more like something more specific. Like give me a more specific walkthrough how the product itself helped them. With Run Travels gets reporting on projects personal and business level, they use these reports not only understand the day-to-day tracking, but also the bigger picture, right? So this just seems like something that again is generic. Like I could have easily replaced what's the client's name? I could have easily replaced tribal scale and put another client name in here, and it seems like everything that they mentioned here would still apply. So I would want to see a more specific breakdown of this case study, like walk me through like the before and after. Like before Run, this was the issue, which they did a good job of. I'll give them credit for that. But then afterwards, as a result of Run, this is how they actually implemented the solution. These are the specific use cases that they had where the solution was concerned. And now this is the outcome as a result of of what was happening or what happened in more detail. It looks like they give a brief idea of it here, but again, it's just how I am. Probably other people are different, but when I look at case studies, like I want to see the before the solution in terms of the problem, the during process, like the during the implementation of the solution, like what does that implementation process look like? And then after the implementation, what's the after effect of that? Like what's the result that as a result of implementing this specific solution, this is how things change for them for the better. So that's just how I am. I like details when it comes to stuff like this. All right, so let's go to pricing. All right, so they do have a pricing model here, which is good. So they have free, they have pro, and they have enterprise, special pricing, frequently asked questions, and again they have their Captera and testimonials. All right, so they do have a blog, skills versus competencies. What's what? 7 steps setting up a successful PMO, employee overload. All right, let's click on one of these. Let's look on this one, the 7 steps to setting up. Is a PMO necessary? And again, whenever I'm looking at someone's content strategy or content, there are two things I'm looking for. One, I'm looking for, does it speak to who their target audience is, which in Run's case, it looks like they are doing that. They are speaking to project managers, which their tool, I'm assuming, is for. But I'm also looking for depth of information. Like, is the information the type of information I can easily find on a Google search, or does the brand actually go in depth to really show their expertise, that they actually know what they're talking about, they've actually executed on this before, and it's not just some random content writers that they hired to do a Google search and research some things and throw together an article, but actually show their subject matter expertise in this specific area. uh Find the purpose. All right, so it looks like, I mean, it's a listicle, but it seems like it has good enough information, or enough information. One of the things I'm realizing though, I'm not sure how much, and this is just based on the title and the heading that I'm seeing. So it's not like I have definitive information on this, but I'm not sure how much these articles are based on actual customer interviews, like actually speaking with customers and saying, hey, what type of content would you want to see? Or tell us about some of the challenges or the pain points, right? Because whenever I see titles like this, like the pros and cons, what is a PMO, what is a ERP software, and why should you care, right? um the 7 steps that we read about here, skills versus competencies. Like, for me, when I see titles like these that are very short and generic, um, or very vague, what it tells me is that these aren't based on specific issues that a client may have. It feels more like a very generic Google searchy, for lack of a better term, that's used, and not much in-depth customer interviews or research went into the type of content to create. But still good nonetheless. I think it's good as a beginner surface level content. But if they're targeting project managers, more than likely most of these things that they're talking about, project managers already know, because these people wouldn't be at the beginner level. More than likely these people are advanced. They've been doing this for a couple of years. They've had several projects under their belt, so they understand these things. So what they would want is more advanced content, to teach them something that they didn't already know or probably wasn't aware of, that can help them be better at doing their jobs. And based on these titles and headings, I'm not really getting that. All right, so finally, let's click on the book a demo. Let's see what that looks like. And they have a calendar here. All right, cool. So let's go over to their LinkedIn page and see what that actually looks like. All right. Their LinkedIn page, it says bringing out the best in people. Let's click on the about. Get company-wide visibility across sales projects and the people needed to deliver them. Navigate planning, tracking, and forecasting in real time. Let me go back to what they have. All right, so this where it says people, projects, profit, all beautifully in sync. Get company-wide visibility across. I don't know, for some reason, this line here, get company-wide visibility across sales projects and the people needed to deliver them. This more speaks to me and tells me more what, gives me a better understanding and idea what the platform is versus people, projects, profit, all beautifully in sync. But again, probably just a way of being short and catchy, but you have to be very careful with that when it comes to your messaging. Clear is always better than clever, right? It's always better to be explicitly clear with what your messaging is than trying to be clever and witty and leaving people confused as to what the hell exactly you're about. Um, let's look at some of their posts. Bum bum bum. All right, so it doesn't look like they really post much. Because right here they made a post 1 day ago, then 1 month ago, 1 month ago again, then a huge jump to 5 months ago. So it looks like they have a blog, but not necessarily a fully fleshed out and consistent content strategy. So that's probably something that they could work on. But I mean, overall, I think it was good because, as I said, I mean, the main thing for me when it comes on to SaaS companies is show me the back end of the actual product. Like, don't give me random animated videos with voice actor voiceovers and then expect me to just book a demo just because. Like, show me what the thing actually does and what it actually looks like. And then from there, allow me to self-educate. And then from there, I can decide whether or not I want to book a meeting with a salesperson. But as I said, overall, this is definitely pretty good. All right, guys. So going back to the ICAD audit scorecard, let's run through the tally for a run. So clearly defines and communicates ICP. I felt like they fell short on that one because as someone who visited the website for the first time, like I had to be the one to really piece together the puzzle and put one on one together, to really figure out. And this is just based on assumption that the platform is really for project managers. So they haven't really explicitly stated who their ICP is, or even the industries that they best serve, right? It just seems like they're trying to reach everyone, which again is a typical mistake that almost every B2B tech company make. But when you have other project management tools such as Basecamp, and there is that one that I use that I'm for some reason not remembering right now. But I use it all the time that starts with A. But anyway, you have Basecamp, you have others like Trello, you have Jira, you have a whole host of other there's Zoho, I believe. So there are a bunch of other project management tools out there, right? So it's a very saturated space. When you have such a saturated space, the best way to really stand out and grow in a market like that is to be niche in terms of who you're going after. And I keep saying it again. That's why I will always use ConvertKit as an example. Because when they first started, they were going after bloggers, right? They weren't trying to appeal to everyone. They just focused on bloggers. And right now, I believe I saw something where it says they're doing 1.5 million month over month revenue for an email software tool where it's so saturated and it's dominated by others such as MailChimp. So for that one, I gave them a two because I would have loved to see it on the website. I mean, yeah, they know it, but we as the people who are visiting the website for the first time don't know it. Understands customer pain points. I will give them a 3.5 for that one. Definitely, I feel like they know their customers' pain points, but I still think there's room for improvement. They could do a better job in really highlighting specific use cases, specific pain points, rather than just giving generic ones that almost every, if not every, project management tool out there could actually make claim to. Positioning and messaging shows differentiation. Again, I gave them a three for that one average, because again, nothing really to differentiate. I mean, I love the product itself, but if you're relying on the product as your differentiator, then that's a huge mistake because, features, products can be copied all the time. So that's not really a differentiation, but I love how they position themselves, which is why I gave them the three. I love how they position themselves as the tool where you know when to ramp up or when to ramp down on a particular project. So you know when to increase budget and funding for a particular project based on the data, or you know when to hire a particular team member or particular skill set that's needed to move the project forward. So in that regard, I definitely like that. But as I said, you can't rely on the features themselves to be your differentiator. Shows and tells value proposition. That one I gave them a 4 for because as I said, they have a menu option, or at the menu tab, a specific tab that speaks to the different features and the use cases for that. So it shows their value proposition, as well as they have case studies. So, they have that social proof that, of results that people have actually gotten from their products. So I love that. So that's why I gave them a 4 for that. And content strategy that aligns, gave them a 3 for that. It does align with who I think they're going after, which is project managers, but I still think there's so much more they can do from a content standpoint that they could flesh out, that they could use to really build their brand and really position themselves in their specific niche and category as an authority. Whether or not they're able to be a dominant force in the category, that's a whole different, story. And it's debatable, but I think if they really fleshed out the content strategy some more, they could stand a pretty good chance against major competitors like, as I mentioned, Basecamp and others that's been in the market for a while. So, what is their score? Their score, when we total it all up, it's a 15.5 over 25. So their overall score is 62. Overall score being 62. And 62 means that they are the little engine that can, which I think is an appropriate score for them, because, I mean, it's a small company, it's a startup. They have less than 50 people there. They do just over a million, 2 million ARR in annual revenue. So I still think there's a lot more room for growth. And I think if they address the 5 points or some of the issues that I recommended, that they definitely can see an improvement in growth over the next couple of months and years. So some of my recommendations, as I've already stated, clearly state ICP and industry that you best serve. So they would need to look on the customers that they have right now. Who are the people that are using the product, are most profitable from the product, who gets the best value and benefit from the product, and then, focus on those individuals. Highlight more specific pain points based on customer feedback rather than generic ones. Flesh out content strategy more and include other content formats such as video that's focused on topics of interest to their target audience. And finally, I'll say it again that they have some great case studies, but for me personally, I would love if they actually show the process of implementation, like show us the, not necessarily behind the scenes, but like, what was the first week or the first month of implementation like, what started to change, what started to improve, and then at the end of it, now you have that final result of what was the overall benefit or improvement that they saw as a result of using the Run platform. All right, guys. So with that said, this has been another episode of ICAD Audits. Tune in next week. Well, I will go through another assessment and rundown of another B2B tech startup. Until then, this is Winston. Take care and all the best.